Every once and again, I'll get a comment from a user, something to the tune of, "Oh, MGTOW, yeah, you guys are those dudes that profess to go your own way from women and then spend all your time talking about women. I'm sure you're over women." I was talking with a MGTOW friend of mine the other day, and he was proverbially shaking his head at how MGTOW talk about women as often as we do. MGTOW is, in many ways, a confluence of thoughts, ideas, and passions of free men. So doesn't it make sense that we should just not talk about women anymore, or certainly not talk about them nearly as much? I get where he's coming from with that. But at the same time, I do plan to continue speaking about female nature on my channel in many future videos. Why do I do this? Well, we hear this common trope in the comment sections as well. Coterie, why do MGTOW talk about women so much? To me, the answer is simple. Just because we have taken the red pill long enough, just because we've decided that pair bonding is totally fucked and gone our own way, doesn't mean that the urge to be with women may be rationalized fully away with that. I think after the red pill rage fades, most MGTOW will indeed still be drawn to women on some level. Now, many may go monk, choose to channel their urges toward creative pursuit or inquiry, and that's great. But even many monks still need to, at least in the quiet of their own mind, continually architect bulwarks against the siren call of a woman using logical analysis. This is why I talk about female nature. I want to fully understand all the mechanics behind the neurochemically induced process called love. I want to understand how duplicatable and meaningless love becomes when it's understood. I need to hear this sort of thing to reaffirm my discipline in resisting a siren's call that will likely lead to my fucking destruction. Many people claim MGTOW is becoming religious or cult-like or something like that, but I always thought that was retarded. There's no overarching religion associated with MGTOW. There's no dedication to a higher power and celibacy in order to devote ourselves to God or something. That's not what we're doing here. We're not becoming priests. MGTOW is purely and simply a dedication to rational self-interest based upon a rejection of gynocentrism, as well as an understanding of the biologically driven male propensity towards disposability and female propensity towards a hypergamist mercenary profligacy. I speak about one-itis, for example, in order to prove logically how foolish it is, to remind us all to alter our outlook on love or one-itis, to neutralize any feelings caught. I speak about female nature to understand it better. The more I can logically understand, the less power the mystery holds over my impulses. To talk about women, to understand women, to perceive nature how it is, to understand our place as objectively as we can do within the natural processes occurring around us, to see everything strategically from end to end as if from a great distance, to understand the sheer illogicality of spending so much time with women instead of pursuing our passions and goals and giving our gifts. MGTOW is a constant, perpetual reminder of female nature to men. It is an examination of the interplay between male and female nature. It is also a sort of mass introspection into our own natures. A ruthless level of honesty is always maintained and valued. And this is what happens when you have an all-male space. We become passionate about something. We inquire into something until we understand it. We do not relent. And there is a ruthless level of honesty there. MGTOW drives us to understand our own psychology better, to act more effectively in the world and constructively for ourselves and those we care about, from our benefit derived by virtue of this understanding, this collection of thinkers, both in the comments and comment producers, everybody. I persist in trying to further an understanding of male and female nature because I value the dream that I always valued about MGTOW. This is a space where men congregate to share knowledge without dumbing it down or softening it up, but just telling it exactly how it is. MGTOW is perhaps the last space in society where ruthless honesty and the pursuit of knowledge are highly encouraged, and no women are allowed. This is like the last male space that will always be free of women by its own definition, and that's the beauty of it. It's men going their own way, not people going their own way. There will be no invasion of MGTOW by women. There will be no dilution of the intellectual thought by virtue of trying to spare feelings. And there is something to be said for that. When women enter the workplace, the home, the sports arena, the club, the bar, any space, logic and rational inquiry sometimes will fall by the wayside. And the longer women have been there, the more likely this becomes, in favor of the male natural proclivity to try and dominate the men around him while being perceived by the female gaze. The instincts to conquer one another, to proverbially amass women in the skulls of the men who try and stop us. MGTOW will never allow women to contribute to this discussion. And this allows our questions to remain honest and inquisitive, to be unperturbed by the knowledge or the cognizance of the feminine gaze, and to be unfettered, unhindered by this sort of value placed on subjective experience, value placed on not hurting people's feelings. I value MGTOW for that. This is the only place on YouTube or really anywhere where men speak completely without the care of what a woman will think. And that is really ingrained into us on a biological level, to care what women think. I think, you think about playing a sport. Maybe you're playing a tennis match or something like that. Maybe you're playing basketball, pickup even. It doesn't even have to be a structured game. And who should walk in to the gym but the girl you've got a crush on? Suddenly you're energized, you're fired up. Your drive to win is just tripled. Maybe that friendly game of pickup becomes a little more competitive. Maybe no one knows why, but you're starting to act a little more vicious. Maybe you're fouling a lot. Maybe you're getting angry when people try and tell you you're fouling a lot. I've been that guy. I know what that's like. I try and use rationality to channel my biological impulses. I never think biological impulses ought to be stifled, just channeled. But this is the quandary we are faced with as men. We evolved to be the more disposable of the sexes. Women are the delimitative factor in reproduction. We've heard the 100 people in a tribe argument 1,000 times. Who are you going to try and protect? The women, so that the tribe can go on. The men are more disposable biologically. It's how we evolved. So how do we deal with the philosophical existential quandary of being the more disposable dimorphic manifestation, sexual dimorphic manifestation, neurophysiologically, endocrinologically? How do we deal with the knowledge that we must take risks, even calculated risks? Maybe we don't have to, but it certainly benefits our overall physiological experience. Risks boost testosterone. Risks make us feel alive. How do we balance that with the desire to value ourselves as human beings? Well, we dedicate ourselves to inquiry and rational self-interest. That's my answer. So I'm going to continue to talk about women, because the more I understand them, the more I'll be able to remind myself what's stupid to do. Like get into a relationship with the intention of marriage or something of that nature. We must continue to remind ourselves why we're here and why it's men going their own way. Because as soon as women are let in the picture, our dominance instincts will kick in. Now I wish to once again draw a distinction between gynocentric dominance and prestige-based dominance, as I did in the Muse effect. As I've said before, we need to channel our urges to dominate towards ends that are ultimately constructive, pushing ourselves to pursue excellence. Man may sharpen man, so to speak, as they would a sword. A new invention to help others, perhaps. Something constructive or positive for the tribe in order to achieve prestige and honor, rank in a healthy sense. There is a sharp distinction between prestige-based dominance, which can be somewhat destructive at times, but is ultimately orientated towards constructivity and gynocentric dominance, which merely seeks to destroy other men around you in order to gain access to sex. We've got to, on an individual level, repair perpetually and build upon the bulwark against our natural drives towards gynocentrism. It is what it is. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a pleasant evening.